Greetings everybody, Amar here, and this is Keno again. This is my wheel, and these are the numbers that have been provided to me by TSIM. I'm just going to explain what we're looking at here. These are the results so far since January 8th, 2018, alright, and this is today, January 31st, so it's not filled in. So the last drawing is this particular drawing here. These are the numbers 2, 6, 8, 10, 12, etc. This is the sum here. This is the first number and the last number. Even though that's actually, I can delete that because I haven't modified that. This was an old Pick 6 wheel that I expanded. These are the gaps between the numbers and their conditional formatting. And this here is the skips. So the last drawing, January 30th, these were the skips of the numbers that came out. So there was a lot of intermediate skips here, 7 and 8 games, and there was one long shot, which was 17 games. Now, from the numbers that he provided here, I believe there was only one intermediate, which was the number, I think it was the 80, which he did pick correct here, the 80. But out of these 20 numbers, there's only 6 numbers correct. All right, so this is the array up here. Okay, so these are the numbers 1 through 80, and these are the skips. I copied the skips directly out of chart 4, and this has an H lookup function. Okay, now this is the working part of the wheel. So that when you punch the numbers in, this is chart 4. This is the drawing since hit chart, but without the number signs, you actually have the numbers. And I divided it by low side and high side. All right, now I'm going to zoom it in a moment, but right now I'm just going to show these little blue boxes represent the numbers that were provided. Now I resorted the numbers so that they were in order here. So the bottom line is sorted properly. This is the first order it was given, I guess the way he thought of them, or something. I'm not exactly sure. So these little blue boxes here represent the number. So this is the 1, this is the 4, the 5, the 9, the 13, 14, etc. Okay. I have arrows on this side to also show the numbers. I removed them over here for clarity because you can see that the arrows, they cover the blue. All right. But if you look at the blue numbers here, you can see there's a number is in the blue box. So the 50 here was a number guessed correctly. So we had the 50. So everywhere where there's a number in a box was a correct guess. So these are the 6 numbers correct. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, looks like there was 7 numbers correct. So 7 out of 20 numbers were correct. All right. So depending on the size of the wheel, we'll have to see how it does. Now, these are 22 numbers. All right. So they represent the blue boxes. All right. So one way to utilize this, right, is well, first I'm going to just update the array with the skips. All right. So I'm going to go to the active cell here. I'm going to copy over these values. All right. And then we're going to go back and I'm going to enter in here. I'm going to paste special values. And then I hit OK. And you can see here those skips have now gone to 0. These are all repeaters. So we're going to just go back here real quick, and I'm just going to put the marker. This is my marker also, horizontal marker. I'm going to put it over here because I'm going to enter in TSIM's numbers, and they're gonna pop up here. All right. So I'm just going to go back here. I'm going to enter it in real quick. So the numbers we have here, we have the 1, 4, 5, 9, and I sorted it in correct order so it was easier to enter in. I was having a hard time. 34, 45, 50, 54, 59, 61, 63, 68, 69, 72, 74, 76. Now there's 22 numbers here. The only 20 numbers fill in the grid. So it might be a good reason to use a 20 number wheel instead of a 20 number wheel, 22 number wheel, so you can see exactly. And there the numbers popped in here. Okay. So you can see, and so basically that's what you're hoping. You're hoping that those numbers will come out in this particular pattern. You can see your adjacents. You can see repeats. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in now just to make it a little bit easier on the eyes. So I zoomed into 100 here, and I'm going to just focus on the low numbers. So you can see the numbers a little better here. So these are the numbers that were selected for the wheel here. Okay, now this shows the gaps in the numbers, and now you see the skips of the numbers. All right, so a lot of 3, 2, 1, 1, 1, 6, 4. All right, so you can see the skips as compared to as they change to the previous time that you picked them. All right, so you can see, all right, have the skips changed more than I like? Are they still in my range? Here I copied the values of the skips from the drawing so that you can see what the skips were from the previous drawing. I should have done that for all the drawings here, but I didn't because I wasn't really playing that much and I wasn't really into it as enthusiastically as I should have been. So just as an example, these are the numbers that I were playing. I was only playing one line, okay? And here was my first line. I had a high number. Also here I had a high number. And here I changed my numbers here. I was going for a sequence here. Didn't happen. And so I was doing this for a couple of drawings, and then I stopped. You can see where here I had this 35. That was one of my top numbers. And here it hit 4 drawings in a row. So I'm just going to go quickly to the wheel that I had played. All right. So this is the same thing for me, and these are the boxes that I was playing here. And this is my strategy. I tried to pick triads, and the strategy was to get 2 out of the 3 correctly. Now the 35 is a common number in different triads, and also the 23 was a common number. And I couldn't get 10 numbers, and then I threw in the 13. But this is how I would do my strategy if I was to do it again. And I was basically looking to have 3 triads and do the best to get 2 correct out of all 3 triads to get a 6 number win. All right, and but it was too much to handle playing the Take 5 and the Win 4 and also the Texas Lotto. So it became too much. So this is also here, those same lines, those boxes I have here entered in, and I'll zoom in this one also. So what's kind of good about this that I like is that I can plug in the numbers, the games. These would be like after you take the 20 numbers from here, right, that you have entered in here, or you take these 20 numbers, and then after plugging them into gold, all right, you would go to the wheel and you'd enter them in here, all right, and then it would show the gaps. You'd see the skips of again, this is the array. It would show the skips of each line, and you could even put your strategy here. This is my triad strategy, so that you could remember what you were doing, what you were thinking, so that you could then reference back when a particular number, let's say, didn't get as hot as you wanted, or you were you couldn't play for some reason and you just forgot, or you skipped a workout for a couple days. You remember what you were doing. So these were my this was one of my triads here. The 28 was, I believe, the number that I had used on chart 8 to find these top pairs. This blue arrow represents the top pair. The yellow arrow represents the second best pair. So 23, 28, 35 was one of my triads, and the 7 also was a pair of the 35. That's when I had the number in common here. So this, drag this over here. Okay, so this is where I got this triad. So there was a bunch of triads working together. Nothing panned out. I didn't I didn't have the stomach to play the same line for 8 drawings and to keep tweaking them. I was really into the other games. Um, and I just know the patterns better in the other games. You know, I'm building charts to look at the Keno. So I built this. So you could kind of keep an eye on your pairs and say, all right, that's not a good pair with that number. Let me switch it. Let me, you know. So this is a way to utilize the arrows and things. So you could these move. You just click on and drag them, and you can say, all right, those are the pairs and things like that. So basically, that's the wheel. I guess that's what I call it. It's not a wheel like you punch in numbers and it shoots out the results. You'd have to do that in gold and then transfer them here. So a 7-line wheel, you have to enter it in seven separate lines. If you're going to do 2 alternating wheels, you'd have to enter it in 14 times. I was going to speak to Joe and see if he would make the data exportable from the wheel, and then I could plug it right in, and you could see and say, all right, you know, that line's no good, whatever. I don't think it's going to happen. It's not the right sum. The gaps are all wrong. The skips are wrong. There's too many long skips. Um, Something like that, or there's not enough intermediate skips, too many cold numbers, all those kind of questions. So that's it. So it's basically 3 parts. You have the results. So the results would go in here, where I put in your numbers, you would put in the results. Okay, you'd have to update the array. Okay, after you plug in the results, you copy the results, you put them into the actual, the active sheet, chart 4. So you'd enter them in here, and you can see I already made a mistake because I didn't update the drawing for the 29. So the skips that I put into the wheel were wrong. But that's something. No, actually, no, it's not. I'm sorry. What it was here. Forgive me. The 30th is here. I have 2 sets of dates. Originally, I couldn't get the dates either from the website to the gold. They wouldn't match. Something was not matching, so I have 2 sets of dates. So it wasn't a mistake. Forgive me. So you'd have to enter in the numbers here, and being that these are the wrong dates, I should just delete them. So you'd enter in the dates here. See if I'll make that bigger so you can read that. That's too big. Let's go to number 6. Enter. I'll expand this cell here for the dates. All right, so those are the dates. So you would enter in the date here, Wednesday, January 31st. You'd enter in the numbers here, all 20 here. This would active cells would change. You would copy these. You would paste into the results here. You'd paste it into the array. Okay, paste special into the array. Values, very important. And then you would see how your numbers, the skips would change. So that's it, basically 3 parts. So you have the results. This would be the results, and you would use the boxes, all right, to mark the number that you like. You copy it and then you place it where you want to place it. All right, you just click on this and you can just right click copy, and then you would just use Control V to create new ones, and then you would just drag them. So that's one part. All right, and then you would have here the let's see here. This is a duplicate, I believe. And here you'd have the wheel where you'd put in your lines. Now this array is linked to the other results tsim. So I'm gonna link it again. Let me link it here. So it's actually linked to the results, and I copied it. So I'm just gonna go in results here, results tsim, check, and then you drag it down, and now you don't have to update it in both places. Whoop, that's not right. Let's go back. This is we gotta get rid of the dollar signs here. All right, now you drag it again. All right, so then it's linked. Okay, so you would enter in. I'm gonna remove this results here out of the way here. This is all mine. So you would enter in. There'll be these three. Okay, the active, where you'd enter in the numbers. This is chart 4, drawing since hit, matrix walk. Results T-sims, you'd enter in the numbers again. All right, you would drag down the dates. This is today's date again. And then the wheel. After you go to gold, you plug in your numbers into the wheel. The array is already updated, and then you would just put in, the dates here for whatever. The lines for whatever date you're playing. And I'll just insert a cell here, and I'll put like today's date, which is the 31st. So we're gonna go 1/31/18, and then these would be your lines for that particular drawing. So you can keep track of your wheel. It's not like in gold where you do the back test and it tells you how many wins or whatever, but it's similar. You can still see what you were playing and why. And these, of course, you don't need. You can just click on them and then click on the entire box, and you just delete them. And this little happy face, you can leave him there and say hello. So that's about it. And maybe it's useful, maybe it's not. Who knows? I was doing this in for the pick 5, and I was doing pretty good with it, or I was liking it, modifying it in different things, But that's about it. So hope that helps. Anybody else is watching? Any questions? Any comments? Certainly go free. You can email me, and hopefully those 22 numbers will do better tonight. You want to get at least, I guess, you want to get at least 15 of the 20. That would be really sweet. But I would do that same strategy. I would make a whole bunch of triads, looking for 2 of 3, and then trying to mix and match. And it's hard. That's why I had these flowcharts to try to help me. Where is it? Anyway, these flowcharts to try to help me remember what I was doing, and that's about it. So, hope you enjoyed my my work, and good luck.